beginning of my book, and I have to give her a little thank you because she created me. All of her years of training, so that's my thank you to you. I'm much shorter or taller than she. You are on a horse, galloping at a constant speed. On your right side is a sharp drop-off. On your left side is an elephant traveling at the same speed as you. Directly in front of you is another galloping horse, but your horse is unable to overtake it. Behind you is a lion running at the same speed as you, and as the horse in front of you. What must you do to get safely out of this highly dangerous situation? Get off the merry-go-round.
It took me a while, Deanna, but I got it.
Have you ever dreamt that you were on a merry-go-round that would not stop? We're in the middle of it right now. Where are we at? Middle of October. School started the end of August. We have a break that's coming up that might take a little bit of our time off or edge off. That's Thanksgiving. And we've got that goal of Christmas, right? That's the big break. Well, that's how some of us live our lives, right? And that's some of us, that's how a lot of the women that you're going to talk to live their life. Again, thank you to Sherry for letting me come and talk to you. It's threefold. One is, I love to inspire people so that you can transform your lives. Two, this is helping me step up a little notch in my Toastmasters, if you're not familiar with Toastmasters, and if doing something like this, standing up in front of an audience, scares the bejeebers out of you, I highly suggest going to Toastmasters. There's about 6 of them here in the area. And third, you know me, I love to talk, and it's been so many years since I've been in front of everybody, so I'm excited to be here. Now, of course, Sherry introduced me and my book. And part of my book is Benjamin Franklin. And some of you are probably going, why Benjamin Franklin? Well, he was a founding father. He signed the Declaration. Great example. He discovered electricity. But most of all, he created 13 character traits when he was in his young 20s. Of things that he wanted to improve in his life. He took these 12 that he had written and brought them to a good Quaker friend. And he said, what do you think of these 12? He had written 12 down. And the Quaker friend said, they're great, Ben, but you're missing one. And the one that he was missing was humility. And so he added it as his 13. I was telling a few director friends that I discovered these 13 virtues way back in the depths of Mary Kay training. And I pulled them in as chapter titles and chapter sections in my book, and I'll tell you a little bit about them. But my promise to you tonight, before I leave, I'm not leaving, I'm staying overnight, but before I leave the stage, you are going to have 2 keys. Now I have to thank, who was it? Jackie, I think, was mentioning keys, and I went, oh, she's feeding right into my presentation. I'm so excited. So you're going to leave with 2 keys tonight to be beautifully balanced. And we're going to take a trip to the park. We're going to ride the merry-go-round, and we're going to walk through the flowers. We're actually going to go through this whole basket of stuff I have in front of me. You're probably wondering, what the heck does she have? And I'm going to try to do it in 20, 25 minutes. So if you're ready, say ready.
Ready.
Awesome. Ben Franklin has some good stuff. I'll hang this here and I'll read it for you, but that way you can maybe copy it if you're taking notes. Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for that's the stuff life is made of. Squandering time and staying balanced. I don't know if I can keep that here, but anyway, I'll leave that there. Key number 1 is order. And it also comes with the hats we wear. Somebody mentioned that we wear a lot of masks earlier, and I think we wear a lot of hats. The hat we wear in parenting, how many of you are parents? The most important hat we wear is our building hat. We are building people, we are building our families, we are building women, we are building our children. And so you wear a construction hat. Now if you work with little children, how many times have you done this today? How many fights have you broken up?
You don't have to be little.
Just in the car. I refer to my littles because now my bigs are driving on their own, so I don't have to sit in the car with them. So you've broken up fights. How many fires have you put out today? Oh boy. We break up fights, we put out fires. Now, if you're anything like me, when you've put out fires, put up fights, something like that, broke up fights, suddenly my children have to deal with dark mom. I am not your mother. It's not pretty, is it? Now, like I was saying, when we look at life, I consider it, or look at it, like a merry-go-round. Now, we've brought up God, family, career, faith, family, career, and we live that and breathe it with Mary Kay, don't we? But sometimes when we look at our God time, our family time, we sometimes include that as Sunday school, a Bible study, which are good things. And then sometimes we get into leadership roles. We join choir, we might be an elder, we might be a lector or a leader in other areas. But the most important part of time, of God time, is that silent time. We've got to be able to sit quietly with our faith. I've already mentioned the family time and all the hats. And then we start the merry-go-round. I'll try not to make myself dizzy, but I'm going to give you the visual of this merry-go-round. It started at the end of August, right? If we've got kids, or a lot of our activities revolve around this school year. Everything's pretty easy sailing through the summer, but then the school year starts, August starts, and all of a sudden, all of these activities start, even with our faith, even with our business. Now, what do we have in our business? We get going and we still have to have classes. We still have to have those one-on-ones, those business appointments, that booking time, that telephone time. And in the midst of all our business, if our kids are involved in activities, now we're adding on sports. My kids had dance, taekwondo. Your kids might have football, baseball, basketball. What else? Soccer. Volleyball. Oh, that's even starting it. So we get started in the school year, and we start going, well, this is kind of fun, actually. We're pushing this merry-go-round because it's all new. We roll into September, and it's still fun and new. And then the kids come home with band, orchestra, drama, and then October 1st hits. It's getting a little harder to push, isn't it? What other activities do we add on? More with our business. We've got retreats. We've got expos. We might have some online business. And then more kids' activities. October. Did you know there's not a real good solid break in October? It's solid school all month long. And then cold and flu season hits. So now we got some doctor's appointments, we've got some sick kids, and we're running at half the speed. But we're almost through October. And November's looking pretty good because we've got a 4-day break at Thanksgiving, and we push through to Thanksgiving. If you're anything like me, you have to either travel or prepare something for Thanksgiving. That's not a break. So we push on. We know that Christmas is coming. Right after Thanksgiving, we keep on going in this merry-go-round. And now we add on Christmas shopping. What do we do with our business? We do shopping. We wear pink Santa Claus. And we've got more Sunday school activities, rehearsals, recitals, more things. And then we finally get to December 24th. we sit down and we're broke and exhausted.
And we eat too much.
And we ate too much. And all we want to be is on a beach chair somewhere, sunny and 75, right? Now, I love Benjamin Franklin's order. His definition, excuse me as I fight with the microphone, his definition of order: let all your things have their places. Let each part of your business have its time. I'll repeat that. Let all your things have their places. Let each part of your business have its time. Now he's referring to everything, not just business. I put on your table a copy of a calendar page. I got tired of buying calendars, and I got tired of recreating them or figuring out what works. And the best thing we can do for ourselves is to control our calendar. Sherry was telling me when we were preparing this week that she used to set aside her calendar and break it down. And if her kids didn't communicate something, it didn't happen. Now we've got to be flexible. But I'm going to give you some ideas for controlling your calendar. How many of you color code your calendar? All right. So I might be preaching to the choir, but those of you who are new, this might be something, an aha. For those of you that have heard it and haven't been practicing it, it's always good to review it again. I put some markers or pencils or crayons. Darcy, I added extra to the table to your left. And what we're going to do is walk through an example of color coding your calendar. Now, how many of you do technology? You've got your calendar all on your phone. It's all completely computerized. I encourage you to go in and color code it if you can. I think Google and a few other places can color code it as well. But there is an old saying, if it's written, it's true. There is a scientific connection between what you write with your pencil and your brain and connects it to paper. And back when we were having some housework done, I booked an appointment with someone to come over and fix something on our house, and I didn't write it down. Guess who wasn't home when the person came to fix the house? So an example of a color-coded calendar page is a balance of colors. So let's go through the colors real quick. If you can practice writing some of these colors, doing some of these colors, these are my working pens on your table, so please make sure they get back to me. Blue is the most important. Blue represents sky. What do you think that represents? Spiritual time. That's not your serving time at church. That's not your teaching time at Sunday school. That is your personal, quiet time. Our society today lacks in that department. Show the example to those around you and make that time, even if it's only 15 minutes, but I encourage you to build it to 30 to 60 minutes. Put that blue time any time of the day. Mine was morning, because once you set your schedule and start it the right way, your day will go much more smoothly. Next color on here. What do you think pink is?
Mary Kay!
No. Pink is training. Green is your money time. So green is your appointments. Green is your booking time. You're not making money booking, but you're preparing to. Green is your money, income producing activities, your IPAs. Pink is today. Pink was last night. Pink is tomorrow morning. Pink is your learning time. What's yellow? Yellow is
Family.
Fun and family. Yep, yellow is fun and family. And purple, I put as me time. You got it. Because we neglect ourselves. Now, me time is not time in front of the TV. It's not time on social media.
Going for a run.
It is you being quiet and still. It's doing something fun for yourself. Painting, a creative art. So I want you to break down your calendar. This is yours to take as an example. Put your God time in. Put your you time in. Put your work time in. That's going to be, anything with your business or a full-time, part-time job. And then put your fun time in. My daughter said to me one day, she said, "Mom, you don't have enough yellow on your calendar. We need to go do something fun." This was just a couple years ago. She's 16. She was raised all these years with Mary Kay. She knows. Those kids know the importance of yellow time. So, Benjamin Franklin says, "Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I remember. Involve me, and I learn." So this is your time to practice those colors. Now, all the tables don't have all the colors that you need, so you can play as we go along. But I want to encourage you to control that calendar. So my question to you is, again, when it's written as true, I'm going to ask you some commitment questions and write down your ideas. What are you going to give up this week to control your calendar? We can't make it to all of our kids' activities. I have 2 children. I can't imagine if I had 3 or 4. Who has 7 kids? 7 kids, 8 kids? Yes, we can't be at everything. And then what are you going to add into your calendar that's going to bring you more peace in your life? Write it on your calendar page or write it in your notes. Now, what we balance all stems back to our own why. Nikki and Cindy mentioned earlier that our passion is our why. Why we do it all and what we feed ourselves. So another way to become more balanced is key number 2. What was key number 1? Order. Key number 2, I've given a definition of responsibility. Benjamin Franklin calls it resolution. His definition of resolution, is resolve to perform what you ought, perform without fail what you resolve. Resolve to perform what you ought, perform without fail what you resolve. Do what you say what you do. Again, a character trait we lack in this day and age, right? How many of you have planted a garden? Pots or in the ground. When I was a kid, we had an entire 1-acre plot for a garden. And my dad would take the addition of the tiller and put it on the riding lawnmower. And it was on the back. Those are the best tillers. Because he would run that 2-cycle cylinder engine up and down. You'd hear the noise for about 45 minutes while you're organizing and everything, all the plants with Mom on the side. And when Dad was done tilling that 1 acre, there wasn't a stitch of it that you could tell that he had driven over it because it was in rear tines. The sun would come out, that cool layer of soil would be covered over with the crispness of the sun. You'd step your foot down in that crisp crust into that cool soil. We'd break out the wooden stakes and the string, and you'd string out those straight rows. Mom and Dad would make the hoe rows. I was probably 10, and my younger brother and sister. We'd go along and plop those seeds in, those big seeds, those pumpkin seeds, the melon seeds. Sometimes we'd make a mound of seeds, and then we'd get those little tiny seeds, those carrot and lettuce seeds. We'd have to get really close to the ground because we'd have to sprinkle them quickly and cover them up so the wind wouldn't blow them away. And it's the same way with planting seeds in the ground as it is planting seeds in our mind, right? What if we put into our mind the seed of doubt, the seed of fear, and then we start watering it with our Facebook feed, our Twitter twaddle, our Snapchat snarls. Social media is negative unless you completely revamp your social media to have only positive feedback. There's still some negativity that comes in. And you feed that seed of fear or doubt with that stuff, and all of a sudden, you have this gnarly little weed growing in your mind, right? Do you want that gnarly little weed, or do you want excellent fruit and beautiful thoughts? We've got to remember what we plant in our minds, and then what we feed it comes out just like what we plant in our gardens. I think it was Jackie again that mentioned courage today. And again, I'm going to repeat Benjamin Franklin's quote because it relates to this as well. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. We're going to practice having courage. And what Nikki just taught us, she was teaching us the affirmations, and somebody else brought up affirmations earlier today too. And we're going to do a little exercise of affirmations. So, I'm going to involve you. You've got to stand up. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
I have created some basic affirmations on the cool affirmation card. They're at my table, over by the window. I'm gonna read them, and you're gonna repeat them after me. And then, how many of you have read about or have read Noah St. John's Affirmations? Yes, I said that right. Good. The directors have them. Affirmations. Affirmations are great to say during the day, but sometimes our brain goes, yeah, right. We've planted the seed of doubt, the seed of fear. And the best thing to feed your mind at night is a question for your mind to think on and try to resolve while you're sleeping. So an affirmation is changing the affirmation to a question. So your affirmations are on the back of the card. Again, I've got these all at my table, so you're welcome to take them. And then there's a little spot on there that you can create your own. We're going to say some basic ones. Are you ready?
Ready.
Ready.
I have amazing energy that lasts all day.
I have amazing energy that lasts all day.
I am healthy, happy, and whole.
I am healthy, happy, and whole.
I am a magnet for success and favor.
I am a magnet for success and favor.
I get my work done on time, every time.
I get my work done on time, every time.
I love people and people love me.
I love people and people love me.
Last one, you're going to stand like Wonder Woman. Awesome, you already got the stance right. I am joyful and peaceful in all situations.
I am joyful and peaceful in all situations.
What words come to your mind, how you feel right now?
Powerful.
Courageous. Warrior. Warrior. Ooh, good one. Stay standing and stay in your stance. We're going to change these up to your questions you read to yourself at night. Mind you, you take any affirmation, change it to a question. It's affirmation. Why do I have amazing energy that lasts all day?
Why do I have amazing energy that lasts all day?
How am I healthy, happy, and whole?
How am I healthy, happy, and whole?
What do I do to be a magnet for success and favor?
What do I do to be a magnet for success and favor?
How do I get my work done on time every time?
How do I get my work done on time every time?
What people do I love and what people love me?
What people do I love and what people love me?
Where am I joyful and peaceful in all situations?
Where am I joyful and peaceful in all situations?
What words, phrases come to mind? How do you feel? You feel stressed?
Stressed.
But you leave that to your brain to resolve while you sleep. What other words? Anything? Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's how I get my standing ovation. Just
I think my brain is already processing so much.
Another Benjamin Franklin quote, any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most fools do. So what words are you changing in your talk to yourself this week? Write them down.
Okay.
I want you to have successful fruit in your life and not the gnarled up nastiness in your mind. I And before we close, or before I finish up, I wanted to mention, of course, my book is over on my table as well. If you are looking for a tool for yourself or for your team to create amazing character strength in their character traits in their character, let's visit. I've got a special buy 3 get 1 free. And then speaking of keys, with the book purchase you get this cool little key bookmark to remind you of the keys in your pocket. What was the first key? Order. Second key? Responsibility or resolution, exactly. And then also before I go, if you know any other units, groups, organizations, churches, businesses that are looking for an inspirational speaker, I want you to take your business card and write speaker on the back and leave it with me at the table. I would love to come within, what, a state's drive? Around here, that's what, 400 miles? Something like that. And with these 2 keys in your pockets now, you will have the beauty of balance. I also have a seed packet for every one of you, along with your affirmation card, that will remind you to plant good seeds and feed your seeds with awesome affirmations like we practice. So grab that on my table as well. Your challenge. Nikki gave you a challenge. I'm going to give you a challenge as well. I want you to take that calendar page. You can make copies of it. This is just something that I created to help me because I got tired of buying them, so I created one. It's an Excel document. That's all it is. And highlight your calendar and control it so that you can have better balance. And then, of course, grab the card on my table. One last Benjamin Franklin quote. When you're finished changing, you are finished. When you're finished changing, you are finished. Continue to grow. The best thing you did today, this weekend, was come here. Christy said her brain is full and worrying and thinking. Keep continuing to do it.